Rumors are that allegedly Carlos King is trying to return to the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise as a producer. Is this rumor true? And will he be welcomed back with open arms? I have some new information that may answer all of those questions and more right after this. What's up, kinfolk? And welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, do me a favor and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, do me a favor and get notified, so you'll know whenever I upload new videos to the channel. Alright, kinfolk, come on into the house. We have a lot to talk about, and it centers around rumors that allegedly Carlos King wants his old job back at Real Housewives of Atlanta. How true is this rumor? And will he be welcomed back with open arms? I have some new information that may answer all of those questions and more, and here it goes. With unusual low season ratings, many people smell blood in the Real Housewives of Atlanta waters. Everyone wants a piece of the franchise so they can be labeled as the rating savior, and allegedly one of these people is Carlos King. A source said, "It has become clear that Carlos wants his old job back at Real Housewives of Atlanta, allegedly. His constant critiques and criticism comes off as him auditioning for his old job back. Behind the scenes, rumors are that he is allegedly trying to leverage the season's low ratings to his benefit and market himself as the only person who can save the franchise," ended the source. Another source said, "Whenever Carlos goes on his YouTube channel, no matter the topic of conversation or guest, he finds a way to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta and what he would do differently. Many say that it's him signaling that not only is he openly interviewing to return, but also allegedly showcasing his production skills in the process. But the question is, would Bravo and production welcome him back? Well, an industry insider said, given the current climate of Real Housewives of Atlanta, the network could be desperate enough to bring him back. But for right now, I don't see it happening," ended the insider. Another insider said, "Carlos is good at what he does, but attention should definitely be back focused on his own reality TV franchises, especially Love and Marriage Huntsville, where they received some of their lowest ratings to date. Besides his resume, I'm not sure what else Carlos can do to help Real Housewives of Atlanta in the ratings department," ended the source. And fans agree. One fan said, "Carlos needs to stay away from the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise. No one really trusts him. He's become a shady person in a lot of people's eyes, and could use some time to reflect on how he can make his own franchises better before trying to return to Real Housewives of Atlanta." And all sources agree that at one point Carlos was the king of Real Housewives of Atlanta, but now that time has passed. A lot of things are different, and the model of for housewives drama he helped to create is no longer appealing to a lot of fans. He will have to bring something new back to the reality TV show arena. And seeing how he is using the same old producing formula with his own shows, chances are he hasn't progressed enough to keep or to bring back. So with that being said, for now, no one sees it in Carlos' future to return to the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise. But things can change, ended the source. Now, kinfolk, that's a lot of information regarding a very interesting rumor that I heard this week. But as always, we're going to take this rumor and we're going to dissect into parts that I feel that could be possibly true and which parts I think are not so factual. So first off, kinfolk, is this. You know, in my opinion, whether you ought to believe this rumor or not, because it's all, speculation and alleged information at this point. But me personally, I do see Carlos somewhat trying to weasel his way back into the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise. I mean, it just does seem like that is what he's trying to do on the slick. Because every time you listen to one of his interviews or watch one of his videos, it seems to be always him critiquing Real Housewives of Atlanta. And it also comes off, a lot of people say, in a very shady way. But for me, I think I have to agree with some of the fans and one of the sources. It does seem like he is slick trying to interview for his old job back, because he's trying to give them, I think some people say critiques, but I think he's trying to give them constructive criticism in a way to make them say, okay, you know what? I think Carlos has changed. I think we need to bring him back to help us out, because when he was here, he did have all of the higher ratings that we had become accustomed to at the network and with fans. So with that being said, whether he's trying to return or not, in my opinion, it just seems like he is, because he is constantly, and I mean constantly, always trying to figure out ways in which he can add his 2 cents into the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise, whether it's about ratings, whether it's about how fans perceive some of the housewives, or how some of the housewives should change up their approach. It seems as if he is begging to be, or really wanting to be, back into the fold of things over at Bravo. Now, kinfolk is another part of this rumor that I do or can see as being factual, and it has to do with some of the OGs and whether or not they will want him back. And is this: I think some of the OGs, for the exception of Kandi, would welcome Carlos back with open arms for the most part. I think that a lot of the OGs and veterans who were there when Carlos was there, I think they like him because, as Kenya said in one interview she did with him, he wanted to see everybody win. Now, I'm not sure if Candy's in that category of people he wanted to see win, but for the most part, when he interviews or talks to former housewives, that has been the consensus. A lot of my sources say that was the case when he was there. He wanted to see all of the ladies win in their personal lives, but more so in their professional lives, because he understood that professional life also adds another dimension to the drama. So with that being said, I do see a lot of OG housewives and veteran housewives who are currently on the show and who may be trying to get back on the show really pull for Carlos if at any point he wanted to come back and wanted to start an official campaign to return. I think a lot of them will have his back, for the exception of Kandi. Now, Kenya, I think she wouldn't mind Carlos coming back, but in the question of loyalty, she might be like, you know what, I'm going to keep my hands off of this one. But kinfolk, it's also another part of this rumor that I do see that could be somewhat factual. But if not factual, it's definitely an interesting point of view about Carlos returning, and why him returning may be harder than what some people may think. And is this: at the end of the day, I don't think that the production team or the current production team would want him back. I don't care how desperate they get to get higher ratings or to change and overhaul things. I don't think they would want him back, simply because this is the production team, from my sources, are saying, has allegedly changed or has been advocating to change the very antiquated reality TV show women-led programming model away from all that toxic drama. And if you know, for better or worse, Carlos gave us some high ratings, but if you all can remember his reign at Real Housewives of Atlanta, a lot of that drama was very toxic. And I'm not just talking about the allegations and alleged rumors that he was behind the whole dungeon rumor. But if you're just, talking about other things, there are many times when Candace said that she felt ambushed by production, or when the ladies would say, we were kind of coerced or, encouraged to be somewhat nasty to one another or to show up to work, which is code for you have to bring the drama and the excess. So with that being said, I don't think that the current production team would actually even want him back, simply because they have tried and pretty much has been successful in a lot of ways of changing that old school reality TV show drama model. So with that being said, it's kind of like there's no place for old producers at Bravo right now who are not on board with them trying to help change the image of their Housewives franchises. Now, kinfolk, the last part of this rumor has to do with Andy and how this rumor could play out if, you are to believe it, and how Andy can play a big role in Carlos returning or not. And it's this. Even if for some strange reason, production is like, you know what, we just need Carlos back. Let's give him a shot, right? I'm sure some of these new producers haven't worked with him before, and so they're probably thinking like, maybe we do need a new captain of the ship or whatnot. I still don't see it happen simply because I don't see Andy allowing it to happen. Because when Carlos left Real Housewives of Atlanta and he started producing his own somewhat Real Housewives of Atlanta-esque shows with Love and Marriage Huntsville and Love and Marriage DC, it kind of came off as if he became Andy's competition. And when Carlos started hosting the Love and Marriage reunions and then had his own, subsequent late night talk show, kind of like Watch What Happens Live, then it became very apparent to a lot of people that it was his mission, or at least Carlos' mission, to become the new Andy Cohen. And so I think in Andy's eyes, Carlos became the competition. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't blame him, because Carlos has been very successful up until recent with the ratings drop, with the way he has produced his shows and the way he has marketed his shows and marketed himself. So with that being said, someone like Andy, who's very astute in entertainment, who understands the ins and outs of reality TV, probably does see Carlos as a very formidable counterpart who could be very capable of replacing him at Bravo for some strange reason, or at least replace him as the end-all, be-all determining factor at Real Housewives of Atlanta. So with that being said, this rumor is all alleged information and speculation, but at the end of the day, if all cards did align for Carlos to return, and the fans saw it for him, the ladies saw it for him, and producers saw it for him, he still has a very tall mountain to climb by the name of Andy Cohen to get over in order to make it official. So, kinfolk, my thoughts is right now, I don't think or see Carlos returning anytime soon, but as always, we just have to wait and see. But kinfolk, I want to know what you guys think. Considering that, Real Housewives of Atlanta has had some characteristically low ratings this season, do you think they're low enough to where production should seriously think about bringing Carlos back? Or do you think that the ladies are just fine, the production team is just fine, and that they can do it without Carlos? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Alright, kinfolk, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys over on the next one. Peace.